In a physics classroom, students are often taught to assume a system exists within a vacuum. This assumption evades the complications which inevitably ensue when that student starts accounting for wind patterns in the calculated moment, interferences by other people and structures, and which side of the bed the fictitious roller coaster operator woke up on that morning. However, reality differs greatly from an 11th grade physics classroom. It's irresponsible and irrational to assume that life exists within a vacuum. Each person has peculiarities which guarantee not only that they will be unique, but that their perspectives will also be. Whether it's a Tibetan Buddhist whose ahimsa teachings cannot fathom what causes the American desire for gun ownership, or a fierce tiger brought up on a diet consisting of boar thighs and monkey lungs who can't quite figure out why all these cows choose to punch themselves with grass for dinner. The culmination of these findings is the understanding that the circumstances we exist within and our experiences as involuntary proponents of intersectionality wholly shape our perceptions of others in convoluted webs of conception. John was no stranger to being universally loved. There isn't much he was a stranger to after tasting mastodon steak during the last ice age and both starting and finishing an age-long war against a battalion of raccoons. Simply put, praise was all but foreign to his primeval ears. That's surely not to say, however, that its effect was lost on him. Nanabush, the trickster, the central character of Anishinaabe mythology, the paramount metaphor in their cosmology, the demigod, the amazing, handsome, intelligent, and fabulous Nanabush, that Nanabush? As described so estimably, John, known traditionally as Nanabush, is the embodiment of the indulgences that make us human. A manifestation so beloved by those brought up on his teachings. However, in a life so long, lived so multifariously, moments of doubt are inevitable. So this is what I've become. Once a mighty battler of monsters, creator of creatures, teacher of tales, and both chief troublemaker and champion of Canada's native people. Now, pathetic. Although his stories were still being told and his name was still revered, John felt nothing of that praise, instead succumbing, as many do, human or not, to his own exponentially growing self-doubt. These self-observations of an ancient explorer, now exclusively focused on his expedition to the bottom of the next bottle, show that even the most formidable may still succumb to the perils of the mind. In this moment, John's former successes, the ones which made him so noteworthy to a traditional, vernacularly learned, and rather orthodox Anishinaabe man, meant nothing. Millennia of ostentation had been washed away by a few too many 90-proof showers. A level of inherent dehumanization occurs when one completes the journey from man to myth, particularly when that journey was not intrinsically initiated. John had been allotted the title of mysterious because he was perceived as reticent in action and mythical in stature. Wayne had been allotted the title of mysterious because the word weird might have come off as too harsh. Though he had long mastered the ways of the fish, marten, bear, and deer, even the most physically disciplined and mentally trained man eventually capitulates to the articulated attacks of his peers. Oh, for Christ's sake, you're scared of me, aren't you? Why is it that everybody's afraid of me? I just don't get it. I'm a nice guy, I know a couple of jokes, but for some reason, everybody seems afraid of me. Even my own family. It's because I live here alone, isn't it? Can't a guy get some privacy without being branded a weirdo? What, do I have tentacles? Am I rabid? Do I smell? What? It becomes immediately clear that years of rumor have penetrated Wayne's self-esteem, forming a coagulation of diffidence. His view of himself as a talented Anishinaabe martial artist starts gasping for air in a sea polluted by external opinion. What we fall victim to as envious individuals, however, is the tendency to exacerbate the actions of others mentally. This is a key detail missed by the pessimistic Wayne. Humans naturally speak with a hyperbolic accent, a dialect which often mistakes subtleties for quintessence. Ironically, a dialect also spoken by Wayne and his nephew Virgil. The petroglyph, right there! You're riding west, towards the setting sun. I heard that's where the land of the dead is. John snickered. Yeah, that's true, but there's also a cute little motel on the west side of the reserve, Virgil, called the Setting Sun Motel. Virgil and Wayne's deductions reason that beings as powerful and mischievous as Nanabush do not indulge in human desires. All actions must serve an ulterior motive. John's deductions reason that a motel might offer a little more privacy than the home of a single mother. John's persistent insouciance, likely brought upon by nihilism developed once realizing novelty as a gift reserved for the mortal and allowed to thrive in our patriarchal petri dish, causes conflict with many around him. You did what? You son of a bitch! You planted caveman bones in my forest? Yet, even in these moments, John's Camusian lens still fails to shatter. Caveman! He snapped his fingers, recalling the connection. That's what a Homo erectus is. I knew I recognized the name. From John's perspective, what others know to be the events which define their lives are nothing more than a vessel for simple pleasure. Then, John noticed Maggie's clenched teeth and narrowed eyes. I don't get it. You should be happy. I'm happy. Goodbye, problem. Yeah, we still got some loose ends to figure out, but all in good time. Maggie, are you okay? You look like you're gonna pass out or something. As an Anishinaabe woman, Maggie knew all too well the struggles of speaking into the void, always having to stand on her toe tips to even be acknowledged on the level of those who would bow down to a man in her position. In the real world, we interpret people and environments based on the context in which we exist. The circumstances in which we've been placed, the struggles we've had to endure, and the stories we've been told, all have a profound impact on our perceptions of all with whom we interact, regardless of whether they aid us in conceptualizing unique thought or they divide us because of influenced opinion. We cannot ignore our constituents.